Mr. Johnson, will you give the invocation?
Father, again, we thank you for allowing us to come together. We actually look down upon us, give us wisdom and knowledge to make the best decisions for our city. We ask you to go with us and give us understanding of all that we're about to endeavor. We actually look on our city, our state, our government, our soldiers that's on the battlefield, those that's sick and shed in, and those that bereaved. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. I stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is before you. I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda, or is there any modification we need to make, or?
So moved.
Mr. Johnson moved that we approve the agenda as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rainey. Any further discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All in favor of the agenda as printed, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. I've got it.
You can use mine. You can use mine.
Okay, the agenda's good. Okay, the first item, Ms. Andrea Taylor is on, so we'll ask her, and if you would, honey, stop by up here at the front desk just a minute. We've got a little demerit, we need to give you. You ever got a demerit? Did you ever get any? No, you weren't in the military academy or anything, were you?
I'm scared.
Come on up here. Bonnie, you got the camera ready, your other camera?
She come too?
Well,
No wonder she's scared. She's seen you doing proposals to one
you
woman.
told me all sorts of times to go and unlock all sorts of things and do this and that and the other, and we're tired of doing all that. So, I've been entrusted with giving my dear friend and our great scholar.
He won't sleep a wink tonight.
Does it work, though? I mean, can I use it to get in the golf course?
Key to the city. And we thank you for your never-ending and your wonderful service. You are a real jewel. So we thought you deserved the key to the city of Hazelton.
You're so sweet.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that very much. Now I'm here to ask you for something, of course, again. I'm always here to ask for something.
Well, you've got the key now, so get it, whatever you want.
Does this open Henson Street? Because that's what I need. No, we are in the process of planning a potential, I'll say tomorrow, I have to go to the Board of Tourism meeting and pitch it to them. So we are thinking of hosting a food and wine festival in April. It would be April 16th and 17th. We would like to do it on Henson Street, and like I said, that'll kind of come a little bit later. But what I really needed to talk to you about tonight was the possibility of allowing temporary alcohol permits, 1 to 3 days, for businesses or vendors that might come to this festival. I was talking to a commissioner in Osceola, Chris Paulk, and he's also the owner of Paulk Vineyards. And he told me that this was probably something that I needed to get a move on with y'all in case we do this festival, in case tourism and the chamber, decides to do this festival, because that's on the event will mainly be on a Saturday, and a lot of vineyards would like to come and sell their wine or do tastings of their wine, but they have to have a permit to do that, and a local temporary permit. He said that he had went to a neighboring city and tried to do it, and they told him he had to pay a $500 fee, and that's just not feasible for a vintner or a winery to come and sell their alcohol. When they're normally Saturdays are their busiest days at the vineyard, so for them to have to shut down their vineyard for tastings and come to our festival, it's going to have to be worth their while, and they have to have a permit to do that, to sell it, and so it would have to be a nominal fee that they could afford to entice them to come, because you know, one of the things we want to try to do with this festival is elevate the city, you know, bring in people with money who can spend money and, buy stuff locally, of course, increase our SPLOST dollars. So, anyway, that's just kind of what I wanted to do, was get the ball rolling with that, see what we needed to do, and if y'all would work with us on that.
Sounds like a nice event to me. As far as the legalities of it, we'll have to rely on the gentleman on my right here. I'm quite sure he can tell us what we've got to do. What I think maybe as a council, what we might ought to do is discuss it a little bit and see if everyone is like myself interested in having an event like that. If you think that would be something our community would appreciate, like to have, and for us to help Andrea promote this, what is your thinking on it?
I do, I agree.
You said this is a 3-day event?
No, it would be Friday and Saturday, but generally the permits that are allowed are 1 to 3 day permits.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. The ones I found online were, so.
I'm definitely in support of anything that we can bring people to our city and county, and I think this would be a great idea.
No, I agree.
Okay, then it appears that it's pretty much unanimous then that the council will certainly support you with this event. I think it'll be something that will promote our downtown area and that our people might enjoy. Mr. Attorney, can you find out for us, do a little research and see if wineries that come in.
I do a lot of research, not a little.
Do a lot. Well, you do a lot of research, but I want a little bit of cost.
Yeah, I'll start looking at it.
And see what would be involved according to the law.
I see the GMA's already got a jump start, which is expedited.
That is one of the reasons that I made a special attempt to get this out to you, members of council, the mayor, and you, Attorney Smith, because GMA has already got that ball into effect on a positive note. So hopefully all the verbiage will be there to help you out.
And I think our recent resolution and, not resolution, what did we do with the alcohol?
Ordinance.
Our ordinance, thank you, Honey. Our recent ordinance is going to be one step in that direction. So in that, we've made some modifications that will help us.
Yeah.
All right, with that,
And in that same light, GMA, they sent us an update. Anything like that we're having in the community, they want to know, because I think you may get some help out of them.
Okay.
Because they definitely want to actually put what we are doing out there so other people would know, and they would put the, what's the right word of it? Report. They would put it in the Georgia Trend and also on the GMA website. That was one of the things that I read this last week. If we have some kind of activity in the city, they want to know because they want to be a part of it.
Great, thank you.
and it appears that you've got all pluses from the council on this, and the attorney, Mr. Attorney, is it pushing you too much for Thursday night, or?
Probably, but I didn't want to make that.
Okay, well, you do what you can, and then, as soon as he can get it for us, he'll do that.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
since it's as far off as it is.
Much appreciated.
Okay, don't you lose that now.
Oh, I'm
Now,
not.
don't you be calling me the odd times. You take your key and unlock it like, you got the key, you're quite welcome.
Thank
We
you.
do, Andrea, all joking aside, man, we do appreciate you a lot, you know that.
Thank you, Mayor, I do.
Thank you.
All right, let's move along. Now the first, that's item 1 and 2, I guess, isn't it?
I think so.
All right, it's also akin to it, number 3, is, the flower galleries, they've got a florist down there, and he wants to sell, gift baskets. And in his gift baskets, he wants to have some gourmet cheese and wine in his gift baskets. So, what can we do to get him legal? Mr. Attorney, huh?
He has filled out his paperwork for the beer and wine
Yes.
license application. This step allows him to go forward with the necessary paperwork with the mayor and council's approval on this, because he will have to apply for his state license. and after he receives his city license. He can't go any further if he doesn't get the city's approval and the license to do that.
Well, again, I think this is similar to what Andre was talking about a minute ago with guests coming in with a little temporary
I
short.
thought we already had a beer and wine license.
Wait a minute, let me get through. With what he's doing, he's not in there, as part of his product, this is a sideline sort of thing. In the normal beer and wine license, we charge people to,
You still have to do that.
well, if they, that's what we need to, she's asking for a modification on that sort of thing, for a little temporary.
It's two different things.
Well,
It's two different things.
it's also the same thing with Landon with the flower shop.
It's two different things.
Thank you, Commissioner Bloodworth, it
What
is,
now?
it's two different things.
Are you saying that then he and the flower shop, his gift baskets, should pay the same license that a beer store pays?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think so.
Yes, it
My
will.
opinion.
Because the way your business license works, you are charged for what you have in that store. If a convenience store has beer and wine, and they have grocery goods, and they have soft drinks, and they sell food items, each of those items are looked at, and that is where the... and
All we have to
that's-
do is approve him a
It's just a
license to
separate
sell his
license.
wine. That's all we gotta do.
Yeah, but here's the thing, how much does a beer and wine license cost?
No, I have no idea.
You know what?
I thought it said $50, didn't it?
Huh?
No, it's more than that. It's probably about $1,100.
$7,000.
Oh, I don't know, I
Oh,
was
it's
just,
expensive. And when you've got your coolers full of beer, and you got it
But
coming out.
he's not consuming. He's not asking for a license for consumption.
Yeah, but,
He's selling it in a gift basket,
yeah.
but he's selling wine still.
But I think you're gonna have to, and I'm not sure, I'm asking here, he's gonna have just a few baskets there, and when a fellow buys a beer, wine license, he's got a counter and cases full of it, you know, and toting it out by the, and he's just gonna sell maybe, two baskets a week, or three, or something coming in, you know, if
So a full bottle in a basket.
in a basket and all, and he's not wanting to, and so, I think, in my mind, a nice gift shop like that, they wanna do that, we need to do some research.
He might wanna have a wine tasting though.
According
Well,
to all
he's
the
in there.
paperwork we've got, he has got to have a beer and wine license.
Yeah, but if
I
he's got,
I think we're talking apples and oranges. I think he does at this point. I think what the mayor is saying is there's some way we can modify our ordinance for a limited sale, and I don't know, we'd have to look and see.
for gift boxes or baskets, and that sort of thing.
As it sits right now.
As it sits now, he would have to pay the,
Yes, sir.
there's only one way to go.
Mhm.
And so I request for the council is, do y'all want me to look into, is there another way to go with an ordinance for a limited?
You're a good
time?
mediator. Take that.
There you go.
Now,
Wow.
I'm gonna say this, and y'all are the deciding factors. As of right now, with the way it is, if you put this on hold, this young man will have to wait
his license.
on his license.
Then I make a motion that we approve what he needs to do. If it's in conflict with the law, he can't do it.
Mary Ann, in your
You
experience. do you
make
know-
the motion then, John, that,
You're making a
that it be
motion.
approved tentative, that, it's approved legal.
That's correct.
I'll second that.
I will.
Got a motion on the floor, and his application is what, for what now, just for a beer and wine license?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, he's got an application here, and,
Yes.
so we don't know what we're gonna charge him yet, we're gonna do a little research, is that right, and see if we can?
Correct.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor that we go ahead because of the expediency of him trying to do other things with the state to expedite his paperwork, that we, go ahead and approve the issuance of his license. It's been, the motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion about it? I just thought that maybe with a gift, but do you have any, experience with a gift shop like this in your?
Only through the wineries, they sell them in North Georgia, they do baskets, but I don't know how, you know.
Well, the issue's gonna be, can you make a differentiation? That's gonna be the issue legally, and I don't know if you can or not. You may can, you may not can.
I don't
I have
know.
to research and see, but I see the point you're making. It's a different type of business. He's not gonna have coolers full. Is there limits within the law where we can pass ordinance, say if you have a limited type of sale, can you have a different type license? So, That's what I look at and see.
Okay. All right, well, any further discussion on our motion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed?
I oppose, but I yield to the will of the council. I just don't understand it, you know.
Okay, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, 4 to 1. Let it be known that the mayor voted in favor of it as well.
Well, can we take a moment and let's help him understand what the true issue is? Let's don't leave nobody sitting in the dark.
Okay.
I mean, well, I'm backing it. I think I understand what you all are trying to do, but the problem that I have is you're giving them permission to start making progress to get a license, but yet he won't have this license, and hopefully he don't start putting products in there to sell with, you understand? And then if we come back and say you can't sell them, then he's stuck.
Yeah.
So, that's why I say, I think we need to try to help him, 'cause I understand where he wants to go.
I got you.
But I think we open up a can of worms if we let somebody put something in a basket now, and then now your wine stores come up later on and talk about, well, we want to do something like that too, you know what I'm saying? But I think the city and the will of the council is right to try to help him.
Right.
But I'm saying I'm just confused. But
Is the state saying he has to have a city license before they will approve, or is the state
Yes.
saying the city will approve his license if we issue a license?
If we approve his license and he sends in the necessary paperwork to the state, he will get his license.
Well, from that standpoint, if you approve his license, you approved it under the ordinance it is. And the question's gonna be, can we get the ordinance changed before he gets license back?
Right.
Mhm.
But as it stands, if there's going to be, you know, your research tentative, then it's going to hold off on him getting his
The
license.
thing about it, the man is gonna have a beer and wine license, and when he sells that bottle of wine in that basket, that license gives him the authority to do that in a legal manner.
There you go.
I agree.
It does.
I think what you're trying to say is, and I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I think what you're trying to say is, if you have a percentage of your sales, it's like 1% or 2% of your sales is for alcohol, or less than a certain percentage of sales for alcohol.
Hello, hold on just a minute.
There'll be cheese with it.
Robert,
Yes, sir.
is your wife close by?
Yeah, let me hand her the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, don't want Mr. Mayor. Hello?
Kim, you're on the speaker in city council is meeting, and, we're discussing this beer and wine license for Landon Chavis for his flower shop. What does a beer and wine license cost?
$1,200 a year.
$1,200 a year. Okay, that's flat, whether it's a small, beer and wine store, or Winn-Dixie, or Walmart, they all pay for the beer and wine license $1,200.
Yes, sir.
That's reasonable.
Okay, all right, that's what I need to know, honey, thank you.
You're welcome.
You better sell a bunch of wine.
Well, maybe his gift and things that he's selling will justify
Well, I
$1,200.
mean, that's not a bad.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that for, yeah. So it may not be too exorbitant either. So I think we've made the right move. And then if we're somewhere along the line, we see that there is something that you can modify, but that's not too bad for it. All right, very good. Let's move along. Where are we now?
Just for clarification, y'all approved the beer and wine license so he can get it by paying $1,200 and applying to the state?
Correct.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, all right. Okay, I've sort of, and Diane, honey, I've tried to get to everybody, and I missed you. I called a time or two, and you didn't. But this next item discussed the millage rate. We haven't set it for the year. It's been set at 8 mills for some time. And I've explained to you, for instance, if the current millage rate is 8 mills, and on my house, for instance, to do the increase of millage that I am about ready, we're not gonna handle this tonight, we're just discussing, think about it. And between now and Thursday night, though, we need to set the millage for this year, so they get the tax bills out. If you do the thing that I think perhaps we might ought to do, it'll cost me an extra $60 or $65 a year, to go from 8 mills to 10 mills. For instance, some of the others of you that I've talked to, it'll cost you $40 or $50 a year. It's not a great deal on a house our size or smaller. Some of the smaller houses would be for $25 a year. But overall, it would bring in to the city of Hazelhurst, to go from 8 to 10 mills is, will bring in about $160,000 or $170,000. And that $160,000, $70,000 will really help us in our low dips in revenue during the year. And that's something that I think we need to think about. For instance, too, the county millage rate on our property is 14 mills, or actually approximately 2 times. They get, on my house, I pay $400 and something county taxes on my house, and $200 and something taxes to the city, 400 something to closer to 5 to the county. Whatever that's worth, you need to look at it, and I can tell you this, that we're doing good. We did not use a line of credit this year. Throughout the year, we've been absent of any loans. One reason, of course, I think the CARES Act and that money came along just at the right time to bail our butt out. But we've operated much better this last year, but we're still throughout the year we're on a shoestring, and we need some more revenue. We need to do one or two things. We need to cut our cost, trim our cost, and get it down, or we need to increase our revenue. Now, if you take the street department, when you go out in the mornings and put a man driving a truck and men to handle the trash cans, that's all we've got. All right, you go with a man on a mower, a couple of men on the mower go in there. There's not an extra man standing around somewhere in case you need him. We're not overloaded with personnel. The cemeteries, people are raising cane. We've been using prison labor to take care of our cemeteries. We haven't had that months, and it's really created a problem. We don't have any extra people standing around, and we don't have any slack in our budget to be able to afford it. And there's other things that we need to do for our employees, that we need to let it be known that we need some revenue. And I'm at a point, unless during the week, between now and Thursday night, I think I'm going to, and of course it can die without a motion, that won't bother me at all, as long as I make the best judgments I can make. But I think I'm going to make entertain a motion that we have a millage increase in our revenue estimate for this year.
I think that we are definitely in need of more revenue in our city, for sure. But how much we can go up on our rate will be one that would be debatable. Our people can't stand just so much, but I think that we do need to go to increase. I don't think we need to do as a county and go with 14, but I think we need a slight increase.
Anybody else got any comments relative to the upcoming consideration of setting the millage rate?
You don't want my comment?
You say you're gonna vote on it tonight?
No,
you're
sir.
gonna do it?
No, sir, I'm not gonna vote on it tonight. I'm gonna, it's under consideration, anything more?
Yeah, this is a very sensitive topic that we're discussing, but also too, we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't hear about out of it.
Okay, we've got to, we can set it as it has existed for some years now, or we can change it. I think is it all right with the council? And in fact, it just about has to be. We've got to get the thing set so we can get the tax bills out. So I'm going to have it, Snakes, with your approval. It will be back on the agenda for Thursday night for the decision of the council. And and I look forward to your wise counsel.
And you're saying that it'll raise taxes, how much?
Well, if we
It
move it from
depends
eight,
on,
from 8 to 10 mills, will increase my bill by $64 a year. It'll increase your thing, I think, $54. I had it all figured right here somewhere. Your tax bill,
$1,100 to you.
Mm.
1,100.
no, he's lying to you. He's against it, he's gonna do everything, even tell lies to get it to stop.
Huh. Coming from a disingenuous fellow himself.
26, 225.
Mine was nicer.
9.008. Right now, your city tax bill is just a little over $200. If we do what I'm sort of recommending you do, this is what your tax bill would be, 225. Let's see, 225 times. It would go from 225 to 262.
Okay, is that counting my log of land over there too?
Everything that you own your house. I'm just
Okay.
talking about your house, yeah.
We bought it separate.
Would it be on separately, if I'm talking about your house, I just picked up your house bill. So it's not a great deal, for the average homeowner in the city would be, $40 or $50 a year. And the total revenue that it would generate is about $160,000. Okay, we'll deal with that, Thursday night, let's move along. All right, where are we?
Modification on the chicken. Number 5.
Okay, well, that's already been done. What have we got to do, sign it? They got authorized me to sign it, right?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Y'all, if y'all looked at this, this is, all this is a modification they've made, that we're entitled on this chief loan. It's already been done, so it's just a formality. You wanna look at it, study about it between now and Thursday, or I've got to sign it, and it's been laying here for a while. I entertain a motion that y'all approve it's gotta be signed, and there's not a heck of a lot we can do about it.
Second.
I entertain a motion that y'all approve me to sign this modification.
Offer motion.
Mr. Johnson makes a
Sign the
motion
Jeep
that,
loan.
y'all authorize me to sign the modification of the Jeep loan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Bernice and I will take care of this. It's been laying on the table since September the 16th. It needs to be handled. All right. Now then, Mr. Attorney, why don't you explain, the Consolidated Housing Authority?
Okay. I'm the attorney for the Hazlehurst Housing Authority and the Lumber City Housing Authority. And for a number of years, the Lumber City Housing Authority has contracted with Hazlehurst Housing Authority to manage it and run it as its own entity. And that's worked out very well for both entities. They reached a point where they've decided it's in the best interest to consolidate the two housing authorities into one. And that one will be the Hazlehurst Housing Authority. The Lumber City Housing Authority will cease to exist and become a portion of what's called the Hazlehurst Consolidated Housing Authority. This is on the agenda for Lumber City tomorrow night. I understand they're going to pass it, a resolution. The city has to pass a resolution. Then there's a public hearing that the Housing Authority will have at the Housing Authority after notice. They'll be running notice in the Jeff Davis Ledger and Telfair Enterprise, assuming y'all pass the resolution tonight. And they'll have that public hearing for anybody who wants to come and make a comment about it. And then it will come back before the respective city councils at the November meeting to actually approve for the consolidation. This is a resolution to say go forward with the resolution. This is a resolution to say go forward with the proposal and conduct a public hearing, and then after that, we'll have the hearing to approve the actual consolidation.
Do I need to read this resolution?
Not really, it's not ordinance.
Okay,
I
all right.
can read it if you want me to.
All right.
And the Lumber Cities has a resolution identical to this. A resolution to create a consolidated housing authority, whereas there's a shortage of safe or sanitary dwelling accommodations in the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia, and the city of Lumber City, Georgia, available to persons of low income rentals they can afford. And whereas the city of Lumber City, Georgia, established the Lumber City Housing Authority many years ago, And whereas the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia established the Hazlehurst Housing Authority many years ago, and whereas the Hazlehurst Housing Authority has been managing the Lumber City Housing Authority for a number of years by agreement, and whereas both the city of Lumber City, Georgia and the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia recognize the need for a single consolidated housing authority to exercise in the respective cities the powers and other functions prescribed by law for a housing authority in order to more effectively and efficiently fulfill the purposes which their respective housing authorities were cited were created. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia conduct a public hearing after 10 days' notice to seek public input on the proposed consolidation of the Hazlehurst Housing Authority with the city of Lumber City Housing Authority. Such consolidation will be effective upon the approval of the resolution for such consolidation being approved by the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia and the city of Lumber City, Georgia. And this passed by affirmative vote of the city council this day of October 2020 at a regular scheduled meeting. This need to come on for Thursday night.
You don't think we need to do it on regular session, we don't need to do it tonight?
We need to do it in a regular session.
All right.
But if you haven't read it, y'all can.
Having read this, we will bring this up for a vote, of the, council Thursday night. All right, let's move on. Okay, what is the young man's name that's, Cheney? Tyler Cheney is affiliated with some type of, is it communication or is it,
Southern Technology Partners.
yeah. Proposal to the city of Hazlehurst to mount a wireless internet service provider, wireless, Wi-Fi, yes, equipment on the water tower at Odom Street by Southern Technology. This is our downtown water tank, the big water tank down there by E Road. And, this is nothing, even in the same category as our, other tower contract we've got. This is for a little local transmitter type thing. I think they're, sort of like we were talking about with the beer and wine license, their little business entity will allow them to pay us maybe $150 or $200 a month rent to put this little antenna up there and communicate around the city of Hazlehurst. Council, I think y'all already read this and you've been familiar with it for some time. Ms. Bernice, I think, has talked to the young man a time or two, and I have too. And we sort of think perhaps that if it'll help him do business and increase the service, anybody that knows more about this than me can chime in. But I think it's a thing that we can certainly approve and help him to put his antenna. And I think they'll pay us somewhere about $150 a month. Entertain a motion that we approve the installation of this little antenna on our water tank.
So move.
Motion's been made by Mr. Ramey. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson, that we let, Southern Technology put a little antenna on our water tank. Any further discussion? Mr. Attorney, do you know?
I think, I've just seen his terms for the first time they were sent to me. I never got around looking at them. The terms just need to be firmed up in a lease where it's not a completely open end for every type lease. I could put it into a proposed lease form for Thursday night and y'all consider. But, I mean, this is perpetual renewal forever and ever and ever. And there doesn't appear to be a limit on the number of antennas he can place. I think some of that language needs to be tightened up.
Jay, would you do that and have that ready for us Thursday night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. We got a motion on the floor that we proceed with this contingent. Can we, let's take the amendment first. We've got an amendment suggested by the attorney here. I entertain a motion that we enter into the, what am I trying to say? Amend, yeah, let's amend our, motion first. Who made the motion, Ramey?
Mm-hmm.
Ramey, can you handle an amendment to the first motion?
I move that it be amended, to,
Comply with the attorney?
comply with the legality of our attorney.
Okay, all right, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Now then, we've got the original
Motion as amended.
motion as amended. All in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we've got it amended, Mr. Attorney, we'll follow your lead.
Okay, I'll have it ready Thursday.
Now, will the buzzards be able to roost on this antenna?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Mr. Fire Chief, you're on close.
I got about three things I need to talk to you about real quick. First one I want to talk about is our weather warning sirens. We got a grant about 5 years ago to install these sirens. Actually, it was 5 years ago. And with that grant, we had 5 years of technical support and upgrades. Well, that has run out. So we've got to start paying our own technical support. The yearly fee is $1,600, but I have went to the county and they're gonna put it on next month's agenda because they do have a siren that's on our system out in Denton. The system that we got a grant for years ago was able to add multiple sirens to it, so we could add sirens around the county. Every time you add a siren, it's about $40,000 to $45,000. So it
How many do we have now, Charles?
we have 3 in the city and 1 in Denton.
Don't we have one out around Philadelphia?
No, sir. All those are Plant Hatch. They have nothing to do with our system.
That's not even connected
Yeah,
to that.
these are connected to the National Weather Service. If we're in the polygon, they activate. If we're in that polygon where there's a tornado, they're going to activate. So there's 4 on the system. So I'm proposing that the county pay half of it, so it'd be $800 per year for the city and $800 for the county. So that's just information I need to let you know. But ours has run out. It run out on the 30th of June, and we just got notification.
Who's the I don't know what all's involved in maintaining it.
Well, that is basically the quote from Mobile Communications of America. They're the ones that has that contract for this area. That is just for the software and the upgrades. That is not a maintenance contract. I've got one issue with the one in Denton. They're supposed to be getting with me, and they're going to come in also and look at a maintenance contract on them, just to come in and each year and just make sure that they're, a PM contract basically, make sure there's nothing wrong with them. And most everybody that has those have a PM contract. So we're going to have to, or at least we're going to have to do the tech. We're going to have to do this tech contract, because if not, we have no technical support, nothing.
All right, do you want us then to, now or Thursday night to agree to pay the $800 if county agrees?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want us to do?
Yes, sir, and then we'll get the county to do that.
Or do you want it done now, or you want it for Thursday night, or?
Thursday night, I mean, we're in no hurry, because they've done met for this month, so we'd miss that
All right, let's go ahead and get the whole
opportunity.
mouthful, see what else you
Okay,
got.
all right. Next thing is I've had for now 13 years, we got a grant about 13 years ago to replace all our turnout gear in the city. NFPA says that turnout gear is good for 10 years. Most of my city firefighters are wearing turnout gear that's 13 years old. We've applied 2 years in a row for a AFG grant. They've been very competitive, and this year is really competitive because a lot of that money is being shifted around to other things. So we're going to be turned down. I mean, there's only about 3 weeks left in the awards, and we have not received anything that says we're going to get it, but we have not received the letter. We will not. That comes after they finish awarding all the grants. So my splosh is over $17,000 a head right now. So what I'd like to do is at least buy 4 or 5 sets. Set of turnout gear, just the pants and the coats, $2,000. If you buy coats, pants, helmets, all that, and boots, it's about $28.50. I just want to buy the coat and the pants. For $19.89 is out of $19.89, and then if we look at there's another company out there. Theirs is about $22.80, I believe is what it was.
So you're saying that you've got $17,000 in your splosh account that you could use at $2,000 a clip?
Yes, sir, and I don't want to buy all that. I want to spend about $10,000. I just want to get about 4 or 5 sets. That's it. I don't want to deplete everything that I've got in there that's ahead.
You want that approval now, or do you want it Thursday?
That can be Thursday. I'm just planting the seed.
Okay.
I'm just talking about it. It's up to y'all when you want to vote on it. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, one thing is to
You
join
marked
with
it
the county
Yes,
on
yes.
maintenance of the unit, and then the number 2 thing is, authorize him to use his SPOS funds for about $10,000 worth. Go ahead.
Will this qualify you though as your requirements, just to get that small amount?
No, sir, but if I replaced all the gear, we're probably talking about $75,000. So I can't, I'm just gonna have to replace the worst. That's what I wanna do.
How will it, relate to your approval that you say that we wouldn't get approved now? If we only get a piece of it, is it gonna affect that
No,
approval
sir,
at all?
no, sir. If I'll apply again next year for the remaining sets that I need. I'm gonna keep applying every year until I get it. Eventually, they're gonna give it to me. It took me 2 years, we had some county gear that went out, and it took me a 2-year cycle to get that. So, and then I've got my breathing apparatus, I got 3 more years on them, and all of the bottles will be out of date. So I'm trying to get the gear and the the breathing apparatus replaced at the same time. And I need 24.
But now you're not, that won't put these guys at jeopardy, at danger, using the uniforms now.
Some of us still in good shape. I mean, there's people that use gear past 10 years, and some of us in good shape. But I've got a lot of my city gear's in bad shape. So I'm trying to replace it. We bought 4 sets out of the budget last year, and I'm trying to, 4 or 5 sets a year until I can get the grant.
Okay, with 4 last year, and if we approve him using that portion of his SPOS this year to get 4, that means 8 is in pretty good shape.
Yes, sir. If I can get 4 or 5, then that keeps me, I'm getting close
All right,
to.
that's 2 items we're gonna talk about Thursday night. What's your third item?
The last item is I need approval to send Capri Sol to, Public Safety Educator. That will be November 16th through the 20th. As some of y'all know, I've lost, my training officer. He left. I lost my fire prevention officer, my fire marshal and fire inspector. He left, so we're trying to replace those positions. My fire prevention officer is going to move up to my training officer, so I need to send somebody to class to be my fire prevention officer, which he's got to take this class to be.
Do you need
able
that
to do
tonight
that.
or Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
Tonight.
we've got 3 items with the chief. Any discussion about it now, so we'll be in position to make a correct decision on it Thursday night. Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll handle 11, 12, and 13 Thursday night. Okay. I guess we're down to citizen comments. Number 14. Anybody burning with anything they need to bring forward the council in a work session?
What's the update on the trooper station?
Making good progress. I'm hoping that we're gonna have the Christmas lights down and then the windows out there.
I've been seeing a lot of activities.
Pardon?
I've been seeing a lot of activities.
Yeah, we've been burning the coolers out there. Okay, anything else? Okay, Cal?
Mayor, I would like to just kind of present to you as the council. The last SPOS check that we received, if you will notice within your information, that there was an audit done by the Georgia Department of Revenue of various businesses using the same software to report sales tax, and it confirmed a coding error. So your SPOS check this time that we received for the city was in the amount of $95,014.19, whereas normally it ranges within anywhere from $30,000 to possibly $37,000. So that, as you have said in the past, the good Lord has blessed us there. Wanted you as council to know that. And also, I have placed the order for the Christmas decorations. Okay? So hopefully we will have some happy people. I do want to let the council know, when the mayor asked me to begin researching this, he says he likes to play hardball. Nancy does too. I actually was able to wheel and deal with Temple Display young man by the name of Rob, and I was able to get our Christmas decorations at half price.
Save us a good bit of money. Yeah. And we go, finally, we're going to, see something besides those things we've been hanging for 25 years.
Amen. You do have a layout of how, the committee wants to place everything. Please look at that. If you can spare any time once this gets started, we'll be ready to go with it.
Thank you. They've, the downtown folks, and in particular this lady here, has worked real hard at getting this together, and it saved us a good bit of money getting it together, and we appreciate it a lot.
I
Okay.
would like to express to each and every one, today has been 5 years to the exact day that you allowed me to become city clerk for the city of Epworth.
You've done
It has been a great journey. It is a wonderful journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, we're proud of it. Thank you. All right, that's great. Anything else? Mr.
On
Johnson?
the council, I told her I would mention it. I think that Lori has been sick. She's supposed to be back now.
Yes, sir, she's here today. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And she mentioned also that she is certified now. So she was throwing a certificate up down there, so she's certified clerk now. And she was mighty proud of that.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Mr. Johnson?
Now, I would like to
Oh,
say,
oh,
oh, I'm sorry.
No, I told you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're wrong there, I'm
That's
sorry.
fine.
Yeah, that's not for you. I wanted to make sure they didn't close out before you got in here.
Ride that saddle, buddy.
I would like to thank the city workers. They have gone out and cleaned the ditches right next to the, Broxton Highway, what we used to call Broxton Highway, Jefferson Street. And they have really done a good job, and they've cleaned out the culverts, and like I say, I appreciate them for that.
Okay, I know they'll appreciate you recognizing.
And it didn't take but one phone call.
If she made that phone call, she had a big stick in her right hand at the same time. Thank you, Diane, we appreciate you. Anything else?
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson?
Let's go home, y'all. I have a motion that we go home.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.